Right now, Mexico receives $60 million a year in economic development funds just for, build some buildings from American taxpayers. Meanwhile, there's a porous border. Fentanyl's coming across that border. The president of Mexico, who's an out-and-out socialist and hates America, has said, "Oh, we don't even do that here. That's an American problem. You guys get yourselves under control." Insulted our country. Yet we give them $60 million a year of taxpayer dollars. So I have a bill, House Resolution 3190, introduced by me, Congressman Alex Mooney, that says you get no economic development funds, Mexico, until you certify you're not sending fentanyl across the country.
Wow.
That's just, one thing. Not going to solve the whole immigration crisis, but think of the stupidity and the craziness of giving a country free tax dollars that's harming us in that way.
Here's a quick question.
Yeah.
Where does that number come from?
House Resolution 3190.
Like, how does a resolution get a number?
It's in order when you put it in. So,
okay.
So, the House Resolution.
Start at number 1 every year?
Yeah, starts at 1 every year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
House Resolution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I had a House Resolution 5.
Does everybody race to get number 1?
Well, the leadership controls that, so the Speaker of the House, is going to decide.
Always gets number 1.
Yeah, 1 through 10, I think, is pretty much.
It's always like the Speaker of the House is cool.
Whatever, it's based on an issue that's important to American people, like what we campaigned on. House Resolution 5 is called the Parents' Bill of Rights Act. All it says is what they're teaching your kids in school, parents have a right to know. It doesn't reform the whole system. It just says some school systems, believe it or not, in this country, want to not let the parents know what they're being taught in the schools. Montgomery County, Maryland was trying to do that. And if, the guy who ran for governor of Virginia, McCullough, said parents should have no say in what's going on in their schools. So that just says right to know. You'd think it'd be an easy one. We did pass that one in the House, by the way. The Senate hasn't passed it. So as far as the numbers go, they're just, once you get past the first 10 or so, it's just when you put it in, it gets randomly assigned. Thousands of bills are put in every year. But, I mean, we have to go through all these, but I know we haven't talked about digital currencies. The White House is actually working on a federal digital currency program, like a national Biden-run digital currency program, which we've never authorized. That's something Congress has to authorize. They are so paranoid about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, all that, because they can't control it. They can't control the American people if they have their own monetary currencies. It totally freaks them out. I mean, I've not seen the Democrats and the left as freaked out about anything since cryptocurrency came along. So anyway, my bill bans that because Joe Biden shouldn't even have a pilot program. We've not authorized a pilot program. We don't want your federal government controlling the currency and cryptocurrency and tracking all your purchases, gun purchases. Heck, in China they have good boy, bad boy credits, for what kind of a citizen you are based on what the government tracks in your purchases. So anyway, I just brought some of this stuff in case it came up.
What about banning the implementation of social credit score systems?
Yeah. Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but that's kind of where they're going. They even have one of my bills is a merchant category code that separately identifies firearm merchants or ammunition merchants for other purposes. So you swipe your card when you buy some ammo. You want somebody keeping track of that? That's the type of stuff Biden is trying to push right now through the Department of Treasury. So we need to stop that. So we don't even get to the ban on, passing a ban on the good citizen credits. We just don't allow them to even keep track of that information. I mean, people are being freaked out by the information. Investment companies are being asked to tell how much of your investment goes to coal and oil and gas. Yeah. Just give me the information. That's all. Well, why are they asking for that information? I mean, there's a reason they're asking for that information. They want to do something with it eventually, and that's you get to the credits or the oppression. Yeah. And we have to stop that stuff in its tracks before it even gets further. And that's something I need my colleagues to be supportive of.
Do you feel like people are aware of that? And I, like someone like obviously like Elizabeth Warren, she's for total control of the financial markets and stuff like that. I understand that. But do you feel like you have support from other people aside from the Freedom Caucus? Do you feel, because I don't feel like the Republicans are are all on the same team, and I don't think that there are Republicans that actually maybe if they do understand things like cryptocurrency and stuff like that, I don't think that they see the danger. I think that a lot of it, I feel like you're dealing with boomers that have no idea, and it doesn't make any sense to them because I'm fairly technically savvy, and it took me a minute to understand exactly the ramifications of something like the Bitcoin network and the possibilities and stuff. How do you feel about the response you get from other people when you talk about things like social credit system that means that you couldn't leave your house and stuff?
That unites Republicans, I'd say. I mean, even some Democrats may be with us on that. But say for the 4 years I was on the Financial Services Committee, I'm on it now, Jeb Henchling was chairman. When it came to the Democrats screaming to regulate cryptocurrencies, and they were, every hearing they were yelling about it, we did absolutely nothing. No bills, Nothing. We didn't have hearings on it. We just let the free market go, and let if that's what people want to do, let them do it. And it actually thrived for a period of time.
Yeah.
The first time they got to regulate the cryptocurrency market was on the first COVID bailout bill, one of these stupid, ridiculous, big omnibus, $2 trillion. And in there, they slipped in the first ever regulation of cryptocurrency. And now they're coming after people, and they're trying to, and all they're going to end up doing is sending it overseas.
Yeah.
They're just going to do it in some other country.
You can't,
Yeah.
That's not something you can lock down. It's the way that cryptocurrency works. You can't. Yeah, it just doesn't have they don't have the ability.
The desire for control.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. Do you have a right to make your own decision, or does government make that decision for you? Even if it's a bad decision. Mm-hmm. What you eat, what you eat, whether you have a donut, what you buy, where you go, you might make what kind of healthcare you may or may not want, whether you even want healthcare. Do you have the freedom to choose to not have healthcare, or does the government make you have healthcare? And there's the view among the left, which is mostly the Democrat Party these days. They can decide for you. They'll make the decision for you. And that's true. And this is why cryptocurrency freaks them out. They lose total control. People can buy and trade on their own, and the government doesn't even know what's going on.
Do you have any, and this is a different subject, do you have an opinion on, or do you have an idea, or are you even aware of it? But I have concerns about company, like the big tech companies, obviously they track your data, and I don't think that they can do anything about it, because everything that happens in a computer, there's a log. Yeah. It just automatically happens, right? Like maybe they don't need to track the keystrokes on your particular device, but everything that happens in a computer, there's a log. Like that's what happens. I get it, but that means that all of that information is saved, and it's also subpoenaable. Yeah. And so James Lindsay again has talked about your data should be your own, and it shouldn't be something that the big data companies are just scraping all the data they can and then profiting off of it. I think that, I don't know how you would do it, but I have a problem with the federal government basically having everything you do at their fingertips. All they need to do is go and talk to the company to get it, because to me it seems like they're just another branch of the military industrial complex, or an arm of the CIA, but logged in in everyone's home.
I think it's pretty scary that they collect all that data. It really is, and we shouldn't allow it. The debate we had in committee specifically is, say you join any kind of company email system, or your purchase. You go to any department store and you start purchasing stuff. The debate is whether they have to ask you to opt in to collect your data, or you have to ask to opt out. And I would say my strong view is you have to choose to opt in. It is a free country. If you want them to be able to collect your data, tell them, here, I want you to go and collect my data, give it to other people that sell stuff, and send me emails and give me phone calls. You opt in. But they take it, for them to take it, and you then have to go find a way to opt out.
Right. It's like having a bunch of email things you keep getting, you can't even find how to unsubscribe.
Right.
You never subscribe in the first place.
I feel like all I'm ever doing is unsubscribe.
Dude, I just have like 30,000 emails just collecting. And
I just did 5 unsubscribes yesterday to see if I could clear it out.
Right.
But that's the debate. And many Republicans, unfortunately, I disagree strongly, feel that you should have to be required to opt out, that private companies should be able to collect it unless you tell them otherwise. And so that is the debate we have. And I think we need to win that debate. The other debate is, even when the internet was created in the 1990s, when it was brand spanking new, and you say we're the same age, I'm not sure. I think I'm a little older than you. But I did not have a cell phone in college. I have three children, and it's hard for people to understand that I didn't actually have a cell phone until I was like in my late 20s.
I had a beeper.
How was life? I didn't have that. I didn't have any of that stuff.
We're bringing beepers back. Because no one here at Timcast answers their phones.
Good.
And so it's just like, okay, I'm going to have to get beepers for everybody that beep. Yeah. And only I will have the number.
Nice.
And if it beeps, it's me.
What if that was our plan all along? We were just trying to get beepers back.
Bring beepers back. Yo, beepers were great, weren't they? Remember back in the beeper days?
Yeah.
They were
cool. That was like a blue, like the transparent blue ones, the really cool ones.
That's so crazy. What was that? Was that on the iDen network? Like
doctors. I thought it was a doctor only thing. Yeah. But what I'd like to say, I jokingly say, when Al Gore invented the internet in 1990s, we had actually indemnified, the Facebooks, all the internet providers from lawsuits if they censored your data, said something about you on the internet was completely untrue, which frankly happened to me. and there's no responsibility at all whatsoever. Whereas if you say that to the newspapers, like you remember the Colby Covington kid who went to the pro-life march, the Washington
Covington Catholic kid, not Colby Covington.
I said Colby Covington.
We like Colby though.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Covington Catholic. That's funny. Yeah, Covington Catholic kid who went to the pro-life march and then was basically harassed by a protester. And the Washington Post falsely stated that he had harassed the gentleman.
Yep.
The video came out, proved definitively that this young man that did absolutely wrong was really the victim of that whole thing. He got a big settlement on the Washington Post. I don't know the number, but Washington Post had to pay him millions of dollars because he sued successfully for being smeared and lied about. You cannot do that to Facebook or the internet. You can't do it. They've been indemnified by law. And I don't usually find myself on the same side of trial lawyers here or anything like that. But I think it's high time we take away that indemnification from social media companies to just totally lie about you or censor you.
I think the way the standard should be, they do not editorialize their rules, and then they're indemnified. But if they editorialize their rules, you get no protection. So, Facebook, YouTube, let's use YouTube as an example because it was true for Twitter, but now that Elon's taken over, it's not as true. Section 230 was supposed to be like, we get it.
Yeah, Section 230. Yeah.
You're going to get a bunch of weird crap, and you can get rid of that stuff.
Right.
Abuse pictures, crime, all that stuff. You will not lose your liability protection for reasonably moderating objectionable material.
Right.
They then went, really? I think hate speech is objectionable. And they interpreted it that way. The law needs to be clarified. You cannot set editorial rules like Twitter had a rule that if you misgender someone, you get banned. It's like, absolutely, you are now disqualified from identification. If you choose to prop up certain accounts. So this was really interesting. There were hearings in Congress over with Jack Dorsey. And I forget which rep it was. They pointed out that if you live in this area, in the DC metro, and you log into Twitter you sign up as a new user, Twitter by default suggests you follow Democrats.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.